Rachel, you have this rich data set tracking where advertisers invest their dollars across not just Meta, but its competitive landscape as well. And I think what's interesting is that the data you track was basically justified by their forecast for sales in the current period. Just your response to that.
Yeah, thanks, Meta, for verifying our data. So yesterday, Zuckerberg reported 11% year-over-year revenue growth. MikMak works with over 1,700 of the biggest brands in the world, powering their commerce media. What did we see in our data? We saw 10% year-over-year revenue growth. So it's absolutely spot on. Meta remains the most trafficked brand advertising channel at MikMak. On any given day, it represents about 40% of our total traffic.
So what's interesting is you have the data, and then what you need to do is find the reasons behind the data, right? And we went into the earnings print solely focused on artificial intelligence. It seems like the early work and investment Meta's made in AI is just making their ads more competitive. Is that fair?
AI is part of it, but I actually think something comes before it. For the last 2.5 years, Meta has stopped focusing on shiny objects like the metaverse, and it got back to business and focused on its core revenue stream, which is advertising. Meta had to respond to Apple's privacy changes, and it responded in a big way. Meta did a huge campaign to every big global advertiser and essentially encouraged them to integrate with their event attribution API, which bulletproofed the effectiveness of the ads. That was number one. Number two, Meta's also made a concerted effort to partner with retailers and essentially enable off-site retail media within the Meta platform. That also improves the effectiveness of their ads. I would argue that AI is number three. What AI is doing for Meta and for really all advertising platforms is lowering the barrier to entry. One of the major barriers to entry in advertising is creative. And so if Meta can remove that barrier, it actually opens themselves up to any business on the planet. So I suspect with the investments in AI, you will see their small, medium business advertising grow.
So I want to linger on that point a moment longer. We just showed the pie chart breaking down where advertisers are placing their money. The story is the one that you're telling at least, is so similar to last week with Alphabet. Again, we went into it really focused on AI. But the biggest contributor to growth was just the search business, the legacy business.
100%. It's all about making every dollar stretch for the biggest advertisers in the world. You know, on top of the big tech earnings, you've also had the big CPG earnings in the past few days. And what they're struggling with is top line growth. Where is top line growth going to come from for these advertisers? Investing in channels like Meta, Google, and TikTok. Going back to that pie chart, what you also see is, yes, Meta is the most trafficked source within the MikMak platform. But what's number two? TikTok. TikTok now represents 20% of our total traffic. If we were speaking 4 years ago, TikTok wouldn't even be in that pie chart. So if I was Meta, I think the big headwind that they now need to worry about is TikTok. And they alluded to that in their earnings as well.
They did allude to it. Okay, so let's look at it from the opposite perspective. TikTok faces a divest or ban scenario in the United States. If you're an advertiser, why would you keep putting dollars into that platform if you know that that's a potential risk down the road?
Because of the effectiveness of TikTok. The reality is with advertising, it's very easy to move dollars from channel to channel. We've been on the show. We've talked about X in the past. We saw a 100% decline in X traffic. Did that matter to advertisers? No, they just reallocated the dollars elsewhere. So until something actually happens with TikTok, you will continue to see brands invest in that platform because of the effectiveness of the ads. In 1 year, we've seen 190% year-over-year increase in TikTok traffic. We only saw 10% in Meta. Again, if I was Meta, I would be very concerned about TikTok right now.